I guess things we wish weren't in the movie would probably be in complaints. But yeah, we hit all angles, and then
so did they in the movie. I can be funny at night too. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Pointless Discourse with myself, Hoppocalypse, and Itisdpayne.
Hello, it's me, Itisdpayne. I can't tell if I have a mark on my forehead. Is it a zit? Is it a liver spot? I don't know. I can't tell. That's all I'm gonna be looking at. It's like it doesn't really bother me, but it's more of like, what is it?
I think it's bothering you.
Well, it's okay. It's
look,
not bothering me.
Itisdpayne, if we learned anything from this movie is that when you get old, sorry.
You get horny?
I have a lot of opinions, but anyway.
So do I. I'll save that for when we actually start talking about the movie. I don't know.
Do you have any fun facts to bring to the people this week?
I do have a fact that is on the list. I guess we'll find out if it's fun. Which was Hereditary was the feature directional debut of Ari Aster, who also wrote and directed one of A24's most recent films, Midsommar. And now, what... Gone something? I forget else what he did that, and then he did another movie. I forget what.
I'm going to check on my phone so that my keyboard doesn't get all the clicky
Midsommar. Midsommar's right here, and there's Hereditary. Let's see. Here, I got it right now. He did Hereditary, Midsommar, Beau is Afraid, and Dream Scenario, which...
Oh, there's Beau and Beau is Afraid. Are they related?
Beau.
Because one
Beau
is
a
from
short.
2011.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
one is a short, so...
Oh, yeah, maybe. I do want to watch Dream Scenario.
It's on the list, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
I am excited for it when we get to it.
Yes, in 8 years.
Sasquatch Sunset is in 2024.
I gotta mute my phone.
Is that already out? Oh, I'm sure you had a great time worrying about your neighbors watching the movie we watched this week. I was watching it next to Strider in the living room, and I just kept turning the volume down.
Yep.
And you gave me a heads up about it too, and I was still like, "Oh, okay."
You're like, "Yeah, okay." It's just the Christian boy being too sensitive. Oh.
But in any case, feel free to play the guessing game for what movie we watched this week.
Me? Okay. The Lighthouse.
No, that was last week, silly.
We still watched it this week.
I do like The Lighthouse, though.
I had thoughts on that one, too. But yes.
Or you guys would have heard by now that I like The Lighthouse. You would have already heard our discussion and all of Itisdpayne's thoughts on it. What am I talking about?
Oh, I know what I'm talking about. We haven't recorded that episode yet. Didn't you see the schedule? That's Saturday.
Shh, they don't know. They don't know.
Oh, hey guys. You don't know. I have a fun question, but I want to save. But I already asked it in the last episode, so mainly because Knight already knows the question. I thought it'd be funny to ask him a second time. But yeah, I don't know. I keep seeing trailers for really bad monster movies. Not like the Godzilla one. That one, that stuff looks good in its own way. So I'm thinking of I think it's movies that are purposely going for B rating, the B horror movie.
Imaginary Friend or something like that. I've seen ads for.
Imaginary. I think that's.
Or just Imaginary, but yeah, okay. So that kind of vibe.
But I don't think it came out recently. But it's I keep seeing it's the Attack of the Bad CGI Gator or something.
Is that the name of it, or?
It's I think it's Bad CGI Gator. Hold up, let me see if I can find this. Bads. That is the name. And it is. There it is. Yeah. Oh, it came out last year. There you go. You can just watch the IMDb trailer on mute because it should still give the.
Oh, this is from 2023. I don't like movies that like try and go for this.
Yeah, I don't. It feels like it's like it's one of those things where I'm like, a quarter of me wants to watch it, the 3/4 of me doesn't.
Yeah, because if you try to be a B movie, then it comes off like not funny, and then because they lean into the like wrong jokes. Because there is one that Strider and I watched where it was like Attack of the Killer Beavers, and then like it became too self-aware at the end, and we were like, wait, oh, this is all on purpose. This isn't as funny anymore. This trailer is very long.
Yeah, it's just it. I don't think you can skip it. I think it's pretty much in the middle.
Oh, there's a CGI gator. Okay.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, just. I think there's a part where it's like very clearly not walking on the floor. Like, and oh, there, yep, there it is. I just saw it on my screen. He's just floating in front of like a first floor window, like clearly off the ground.
High quality fun. Yeah, it's a little too literal.
Yeah, like that's the thing. I'm like, I don't know. It might be a little silly. It's not like I would rather watch Santa Jaws than this.
Yeah, because Santa Jaws is like you can tell there was somebody that really cared, and I don't know if Bad CGI Gator cares or they know that they can get people to watch it based off the title, like off the gimmick.
Let's see, what was the rate? It's below a 5, so it's a 4.3. So, yeah.
I need to look up Santa Jaws.
Well, okay, hold up. Is this a series of bad CGI sharks?
Santa Jaws is a 4.0.
The question is, did people go into Santa Jaws expecting a good movie while people went into bad CGI gators expecting a poopy one?
It would be really sad if you were expecting a bad movie for bad CGI gator and are still let down. Oh yeah, I see there's bad CGI sharks.
I don't know. That might be a fun series. It's just like this. This movie
there's
apparently
bad CGI werewolves, bad CGI monsters, all like listed on IMDb with no ratings.
Yeah, but there's this.
Yes, I did see that.
Monsternado. There's a T-Rex with an octopus. It's a Cthulhian horror. I scrolled down and there's the Loch Ness Horror. Oh, wait. You know, it'd be fun to watch and do something of and get our friends to also watch Mega Shark. Is that what it is? Mega Shark versus, like... Hold up.
Mega Shark has a very long-standing series. I think I've watched Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus. But I might have also watched Mega Shark versus Crocosaurus.
Yep, those are both two.
They both did come out in 2009 and 2010. That seems like peak sci-fi years for me.
Yeah. And then there's Mega Shark versus Colossus, spelled with a K. Mega Shark versus Mecha Shark.
Colossus is a meat robot?
I don't know. And Crocosaurus. Yeah, so it's yeah. Yeah, I just brought it up on my
I would have never guessed that's what Colossus was based off of his name alone.
Oh, this has the same vibe as Sharktopus.
Oh yeah, I see the whole drone footage of being in another country to establish.
Yeah, except he's just destroying ships.
Why does he not have his own movie? That's a little disappointing. He was only invented to go versus other people?
Well, I think we have to go to the first one. Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus. And if I remember correctly, they're just two really old... Oh, there it is. They were frozen, and then they unfroze, and then they were like, we're still going to fight.
This looks like an early, 2000s game for Attack on Titan.
I've only watched the first season. I thought that was good. Oh, man. Funny, scary movies. Oh, wait a second. Where? I saw a funny list. Yeah. How Attack on Titan actually ends.
Anyway, so before you get lost in
I
all
already
of this
am.
planning...
I found one called Cowboys versus Dinosaurs.
I was going to say, there was a AAA movie, Cowboys versus Aliens.
Every time I think of Cowboys versus Aliens, it reminds... There's this country song called Cowboys and Angels, and there's a guy at work that was playing this, and I think he's from Romania, and he still has a pretty heavy accent. And so there was just one day, because I think I was still in high school, or I can't remember. It was either when I was right out of or in high school, and we were just walking by there, and he was just the song was playing, and he's just singing, and all of a sudden we hear Cowboys and Aliens in his heavy accent, and we're just okay. And so that's all I think of when I hear that.
That is funny. But we have already given the audience plenty of time to try and guess what movie we watched this week.
Can we just do this? Let's just talk about that.
Talk about anything else.
We're talking about the movie X.
You did
today.
It.
Yep.
Comment if you guessed it before we got there.
Good job.
High five, virtually. But in any case, yes. I'm going to pull up my dice roller.
What do we want to roll for this?
It's a horror movie.
3D6s.
Get it? Oh, what'd you say? 3D6s?
3D6s.
I can do that in my app.
I can do it right here. But if I have to add them up, it's going to take...
Mine did the math for me.
Okay, hold up.
No peeking.
We literally tied.
I rolled a 6 and a 3 and a 1.
That's exactly what I rolled. A 6, a 3, and a 1.
I think you're lying to me. Okay, one more time. Ready? One more.
I haven't looked. I see you holding it up. I rolled a 5, a 1, and a 1, so a 7.
You get to give the synopsis.
What the dumb?
For anyone who is new here and this is your first episode, welcome in. I realized we never said this year we're watching 24 A24 films for the year 2024.
Yes.
This is episode 16. So feel free to go back and watch or listen to any of the other episodes we've already done. But anyway... we rolled dice because we're big tabletop role-playing nerds, and we like to force whoever gets the highest number, or sometimes lowest number, depending on the episode.
Yeah, we didn't really specify.
But you said "oh dump," so you get to give the synopsis.
Oh dump! You have to give the synopsis.
So if you don't want to be spoiled for this movie, it is relatively new. Turn back now.
Yeah. And just for anyone who hasn't been here. I guess before we do the synopsis, 30 minutes of we talk literally about anything in the movie, complaints, good things, things that we wish, I guess things we wish weren't in the movie would probably be in complaints. But yeah, we hit all angles, and then...
so did they in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I can be funny at night, too.
You think I'm funny? It's the first compliment Hop's given me in the 2 years we did this, but no. But yeah, and then we'll let you know who we recommend this for. But anyway, oh yeah, I'm not starting the timer. So that should have given anybody if they didn't want to. I always find it funny. It's turn back now, and it's just we literally put the name of the title of the movie in the title of the episode. So it's double warnings. But here we go. Synopsis of the movie X. A group of dreamers of hoping to make a huge impact on 1979 America with artful movies goes to a location and ends up getting in more trouble than they bargained for.
Tasteful.
Mm-hmm. Because it's not going to be after I hit start on this timer. And go.
Where would you like to start?
Time's up. No.
You seem to have a lot of thoughts. Do you want me to kick it off?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like sometimes I start this. You go ahead.
All right. I wanted to look up if this movie was written and directed from a male point of view, because I wasn't sure if it was meant to be an empowerment piece or was kind of an excuse for someone to look at nude women. And I believe it's written and directed by a man. So that gave me my answer. Because for a little bit, I was 50-50. Because I felt like the overall message to this movie was so misogynistic that I was losing my mind. Because to me, the message of the movie was, if you're pretty, that's the only thing you have going for you. So therefore, you'll kill people when you get old and ugly and sad. And I was like, that's what's happening?
Yeah, so when this movie first came out,
Since
a year or two ago?
Yeah.
2 years ago. It's interesting because this is like X came out first. Pearl is the
Prequel.
Goes along, but like they apparently
I have trivia. The day after X's South by Southwest premiere, Ty West revealed that during a mandatory 2-week COVID quarantine in his New Zealand hotel before production could begin on this film, he wrote a prequel, Pearl. A24 saw the script and greenlit the movie even before production on X had wrapped. He asked Mia Goth if she wished to remain in New Zealand and film Pearl, and she readily accepted, and the prequel released later in the same year.
Yeah. This was filmed in New Zealand. The same place the
Double
Hobbits
facts.
ran. The Hobbits were there, and they did this. No wonder that's where they got the. Anyway, but yeah. So, anyway, when this movie came out, all I remember is my mod for my Twitch channel, Rick. He's like, "Dude, you gotta watch this, dude." And then he's like, And then he's like, "Pearl's coming out. Watching this too." I'm like, "Cool." I have no desire to watch any of these movies. And I didn't even watch the trailer. It's just, I don't know. I guess I'm more picky about what I want to watch nowadays because he watches almost everything. But I will say, he's like, what he was saying is there's things that when you watch Pearl make to what his interpretation. This is not me saying this, guys. I'm just gonna say it now. Pearl's next week. So, but from what my friend was telling me, is that there is things in Pearl that explain things in X, which I hope so because it's a prequel. But anyway, but it's just like,
you know what I was gonna say. You know what I didn't realize because I was watching it on my tablet. Mia Goth plays both Maxine and Pearl.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I think I only knew that because it's just seen posters. and I
don't mean she plays Pearl in the prequel. I mean in X. She is both Maxine and Pearl if you look on the IMDb. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, because I saw a trivia fact about the amount of makeup, and I was like, makeup? I thought Mia Goth looked like that. They just bleached her eyebrows. And then it was like, oh, okay, she's also Pearl.
Yeah. So no, I didn't realize. Yeah. No, I did not know that. But yeah, it's just, let's see. Let me look over my notes. Okay, so I will say there are certain parts where I'm like, is this inspired by Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
It's inspired by a lot of horror movies.
Yes, but it just
there's Psycho bits in it, and they even specifically call out Psycho in it. because the one girl goes like, I love Psycho, and then Jackson in the movie finds the car pushed into the lake. Mm-hmm. Then you have a lot of Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah,
you have a little bit of the
beginning. It felt like.
Yeah, then you have a little bit of The Shining, because with her trying to break through the axe in the door and trying to stick her hand through the door.
I think I wrote that. I wrote Here's Johnny.
Yeah, like there's a lot, like to me, and I guess this is the way that I felt about Us when I watched Us, where like this feels like someone's earlier horror film that likes horror films and just decided to like use a lot of inspiration to put together a horror film, but to me just feels like baby's first horror film. I'm not saying I could do better. I'm just saying it feels like someone's early
and it felt like if it honestly felt like a callback to a lot of the 80s slashers and certain like bits and like other horror things. But like the one thing that 80s slashers are like, besides a bloodbath, is hey, boobs. there's at least gonna be one within the first 30 minutes.
Yeah, and then like they even to go along with the slashers, there's a final girl. Like it's a very like.
Wasn't the virgin.
But I feel like they wanted X to feel like a different movie than the 80s slashers, but it didn't feel different enough to me. And it almost felt like the low-key message in it was, like I said, like I really hated the overall message of Pearl and why...
X. The movie X, but from Pearl.
I did not like the character Pearl's reason for doing what she do. Will I empathize with her more in the prequel? I don't know, but like it's the whole like viewpoint for me as a woman watching it. I felt like, oh, okay, so this pretty woman could not find anything else fulfilling in her life, in her entire life. That feels very... It feels almost like what a guy says when he gets turned down by a model. Like, he's like, oh, all you have going for you is your looks. As soon as you lose your looks, you're blah, 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 blah. Like, it feels like that energy to me. Because she even has the lines like, I used to be pretty like you. I had something special just like you do. And it was like, I understand that when people age, they get jealous and want to hang on to their youth. But does that really have to be the center of this entire film? Especially when she likes making eye contact.
What was it? No, I'm forgetting that stupid song they sing.
Extended the Fleetwood Mac.
Extended eye contact.
Oh, that song. I thought you meant the one that they sing in the movie.
They sing. I will say that there's some pretty good song choices that is just like it. Yeah, like it. They're literally doing what the song says. But yeah, the Fleetwood Mac song. That's the one that Bobby Lynn sang. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it was just like I thought that scene was pretty neat and it's the man, I was about to use a word. I'm like, I hope this word means what I think it means right now, and I'm too lazy to look it up. But it's like this movie's like there is no nuance. There's nothing hidden. It's just like there it is.
No, yeah.
And it's just like there's
it's very surface.
Yeah, like even with the song choices, like oh man. That lady's old.
Yeah, and it's not even like... So, like, Midsummer had an interesting way of, like, showing you everything that was going to happen without you really realizing it, unless, like, you were kind of, like, really paying attention. Because Midsummer, there's so much happening that you don't assume that all the imagery on the walls is important. Whereas, yeah, in X, it very much feels like old people covered in liver spots, gross hair, gross farm, gross teeth. And I was like, okay, you didn't have to like do their makeup up to make it like this. You didn't have to make the old people actually look like monsters and be like, look, the old people, they're the bad guys. It's like, well, you used very stereotypical like prosthetics on them, so like
like we knew, and it's just that was the other thing where it's just like watching it. It's like the movement speed of the of the old people did not make sense to me because there's like
their reaction times,
yeah, like there's just like times like in the beginning of the movie it's just like slow and just like my joints hurt, and then it's like in the second half of the movie they're like stinking part of Dragon Ball Z instant transmissioning all over the place and just like
I know the one that threw me off the most is when the girl Lorraine, I think her name is,
when
the
they get her out
one.
of the basement.
Yeah, she's like, no, I'm leaving right now, and I'm gonna like get out of here. And then like he instant reacts and like gets her in the face, and I was like, his reaction time is better than mine in video games. Wow.
Yeah.
Like she opened the door and he was just like, boom.
Yeah, but it's just like they were still doing their thing, and it's
Boinking.
just yeah. Then like and yeah, like she was definitely trying to sneak out and didn't like go right away to let her out. But at the same time, it's just like, okay, it's it's just like, okay, they're there now.
Was I supposed to feel something when the religious figure on the TV revealed that his daughter was Maxine?
I thought
I didn't feel anything.
I was like, oh, wasn't expecting that. Cool. It's like that's all it was. It's just like, man, this guy's on the TV a lot.
TV, radio, yeah.
I would say it's like because there's the one thing that Maxine is always saying. She's like, I'm gonna be a star. I'm gonna be a star. Everyone gonna know my name. And at the end of the movie, it's just like, imagine literally hearing your dad everywhere you go. Like he was playing on the radio. He was playing in the convenience store. He was playing in the house, and it's just like she specifically is doing this to be like, heck with you. Mm-hmm. But it's like she is getting known, like maybe not for what she wanted, but like her dad's like obviously looking for her, and it's just like is part of his whole routine, and it's just like, hey, she's getting her wish, just not what she wanted. But yeah, so it was because that was like the other thing. Like it's like the first half, like it was definitely like, okay, here we go. We're gonna just trick these old people. We're gonna shoot this movie, and it's the one thing that Lorraine's character, like, I understand why, like in a casting sense of, or like why she's written there, but like in a reality sense, I don't understand why she's there, because it's just like up until the Fleetwood Mac song, wow, words, up into the song where everyone's like, I'm old and sad, is just she's like, it's clear they call her the church mouse. She doesn't talk. She doesn't want to be part of this. It's like,
she's just dating the camera guy.
Yeah, it's like, what did RJ say to her? Because like you can tell she doesn't even want to be in the van, as Bobby Lynn and Jackson are just like, hey, we're gonna do it right here if we don't find a place eventually. Like, we're just gonna make out. And he's like, why are we here? And and like she's even like saying like, this isn't. It's like, what are you doing? He's like, well, you can make art and make all this other stuff, and it's just
this
like,
is smut.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna make my way into Hollywood with this, and I'm just like, no, you're not. But you can think that, and then to the part where it's just like, she's like asking all the questions, and it's just like, I want it, and then it's just. Then the side flips where it's just like they force RJ to record it, and then like he's just like, oh, so now that it's like, you were okay when it was like like the face, like these like people you don't know and just obviously have no emotional or like kind of I don't know, just like the standard of just like, oh, it's okay for them to do it because they're gross, but not her. She's pure. Like that's not the word she used, but they used, but it was like essentially the conversation, and it's just like, and it was just like one of those things where it's just like, oh okay, like it really made me wonder. It's just like, did RJ just literally just like, hey, I need you. I'm getting paid to do this. Do you want to help me? And it's just like, it was one of those things where I'm like, man, this must, like, being RJ and Lorraine in like real life settings must be the most awkward job. It's just like,
I know,
cool
her with
guys.
the sound mic.
Yeah,
and then the guy's like, turn her around. He's like, don't tell me what to do. And he's like, okay.
Okay. But like even it's like, what did I write? I wrote something. It was like, I wonder how much Camera Girlfriend knew about this project. And then I wrote, this has to be one of the most awkward jobs, being the film crew for a porn. It's just like,
I gotta imagine if you, I wouldn't be surprised if like you get into the industry because you're like, oh, I get it for free. But then like once you're behind the scenes, you start to become desensitized where you're just like going into work.
Yeah, like, I don't know.
Yeah, she didn't sign up for it. She thought she was just gonna help her boyfriend film.
Yeah. Also, this is the other thing that was cracking me up, because like I've done a few short films and everything, and like the way RJ was talking about certain shots and everything, and like, so the way the opening scene of Bobby and Jackson's like character meeting, like before they go and film the scene they filmed first, the way he shot that, it's just like, I don't think people understand, like, just like, oh man, it's the beginning of a porn thing. It's like, no, you do understand, like, that was, let's see, 1, 2, 3, there was like 4 to 5 different shots, which means they ran through that scene at least 5 times if they didn't make a mistake with the dialogue. And because it's just like, he has the one shot towards Jackson, he's the other shot for that, so it's just like he's doing all this, and I'm like, dude, this would take forever.
And he has one camera. It's
Yes.
not like modern movies where you have kind of like 3 to 10 cameras depending on the set, and different guys on different dollies, so that you take, it's like one set of dialogue with like 3 to 5 angles at a time. So, and then he also doesn't have the technology to like record something and then add the try to sync like everything later on. It's kind of just, he has film and he's just one guy. It's just him.
So that was something I was like, I don't think people would, like, if you actually think about this, it's like, yeah. And then he's just like, we're gonna lose the light. I'm like, buddy,
you were filming for all of the daylight for how many scenes you took.
Yeah. Hold on, there was something else that I wrote that made me laugh. Where'd it go? Because while they're filming this, Maxine is walking around the property. Oh, there we go. Because she's swimming, like she goes skinny dipping.
She goes skinny dipping. And then we see the gator.
Yeah. So I wrote, the gator of purity has been awakened.
I know, I was just like, that's a really slow moving gator. Or he ate recently.
Yeah, but it's just like, okay. Like, it's like, okay, foreshadowing. Like, that's the whole beginning. Like, that's the whole beginning of this movie. Is like, not clever ways of foreshadowing. It's like, there's a gator. Oh. And then it's just like Jackson being revealed, like, hey man, I was in the Vietnam War. It's like, I'm Marine, just like you, old timer. And it's just like, okay. And,
oh yeah, and they kept doing like, they wanted to make a point about like race, but they also like didn't do a very good job of really driving it home. They just had Jackson be like, I've been shot by enough farmers, if you know what I mean. And the guy's just like, what? Like, he's just...
Yeah. Just, okay. and then
they're walking around in the swampy lake area together later.
Yeah.
Where he finds the VW Beetle, which is like what, at the same time as Lorraine gets locked in the basement and sees what happened to the last renter.
Lorraine is locked in the basement before that, I think.
Oh, okay. I thought like he discovers the buggy pretty close to her discovering the body.
Well, no, because at that point, Jackson and the old man are exploring the grounds. Because they're looking for Bobby.
His wife.
Oh, yeah. They're looking for her, and then that's when...
Because I thought that's when he locked her in the basement, because he was like, be quiet, you stay down. He's like, get me my flashlight. Because he has his flashlight when he's with Jackson. Because Jackson, he's like looking for the old man and thinks he got eaten by a gator because his flashlight is stuck in the water.
Oh, no, I remember what it is now. Because RJ, he has the mental breakdown after Lorraine
and he's
does
in the
her
van.
scene.
Yeah.
And then he's like, you know what, heck with this, shoot it yourself, find your own way home. And he's going to leave. And that's when
old
Pearl,
lady
just is like, stop, like, return the slab.
I was just thinking about that episode and how it's like one of the few Courage episodes that scared me, because I think as a kid I was so used to like all of my animation being 2D, and then for this creepy 3D creature to be on the screen, I was like, what is that?
How many episodes of Courage are there?
If I had to take a guess, 60. I could be very wrong though.
For no reason. For no reason. But but yeah, he does that, and then Pearl kills him there. Like after, it's just like, you want to get it on? And it's like, no. That's the last thing I want to do. It's like, okay, say bye to your neck. What? And then just we play Fear the Reaper and tons of red, and then she does a ballet dance, which I guess will make sense. And
she talks about how she was going to be a famous dancer to Maxine in the very beginning, when Maxine and her share lemonade.
Yeah, like it's made mention, and so I don't know. It's one of those things where I'm like, how much is this actually gonna, like, part of me wonders, like, did things... Oh no, because he wrote it... What? Yeah, he wrote it after... Whatever. That doesn't matter. Anyway, so she kills RJ, and then she kind of...
Lorraine wakes up and realizes
disappears.
Yeah,
Lorraine wakes up, realizes he's not there, and so she starts to
goes
look
up to the house. Yeah.
And that's when he comes out. He's like, what are you doing? And it's just like, I'm looking for my boyfriend. Did he come up here? And he's like, no, he must have wandered off. Here, go get a flashlight in the basement. And that's when he locks her in the basement.
Yeah, that's why I thought that, like, she was already in the basement by the time Jackson.
Yes, yeah, so she was...
Yeah, that happens. And then who's the next... Oh, it is Jackson that's the next one to wake up.
No, the Wayne. Wayne's the next one because...
Oh, because Lorraine wakes him up.
Lorraine wakes him up, and then he's like, she's going to go to the house. He goes to the barn. He gets shish kebab. He gets tetanus, and then I wrote, yay, tetanus. And then he's like, I won't get tetanus. And I was like, well, that's what you get for walking around barefoot and like...
In your little tidy whities.
Yeah, so I'm like, hey, you do you, guy. But, yeah,
I did think it was very funny when she double-checked he was dead.
Yeah, just
taking the pitchfork.
Just little and then starts covering him.
So that's him. And then the old man knocks at the house, and Jackson is naked.
Yes. He does Drake before Drake.
And then he wanders off, and then Bobby Lynn ends up at the pond to check, and then finds the old lady there.
Well, no, before that, that's when he's gone and the husband is in there. That's when Pearl is just like, hey, it's myself.
Yeah, Maxine wakes up screaming. That wakes up Bobby Lynn, yes.
Rightfully so. And then she's just hobbles out like, just and just goes, and it's like, she touched me. And then
she showers, and then Bobby Lynn goes to look for her
and meets her, and then
the gator gets a snack.
The gator of purity comes back.
He's not bad CGI.
Yeah. What I wrote there, because right before this is when Lorraine takes the axe and breaks open the door and tries to get out, and that's when the old man busts her hand up.
I told you to be quiet down there.
Yeah, and then proceeds to not be quiet.
Help!
And then that immediately after that's when Bobby's like, screw you, you're gonna be old and decrepit, you're just jealous of this. And she's like, meh, pushes her in the lake, yeah,
because at first she tried to be nice. She's like, what, her auntie or somebody in her life has episodes too, and she's like, I could have become a nurse, and instead here I am. And then the lady basically is just like, I don't need your help. And then what is it? She runs into her husband, and her husband is like, so, was that the one? She's like, you just know I don't like blondes. And I was like, what? I don't, they're in on it together now? I don't, okay.
Yeah, I think if there's like tag team murder sesh. Like,
in the beginning, I thought it was just her having like a moment,
and then
and then he does the whole lawyering thing. If she's inside the house, she was on private property. Like, but there's so much blood outside on your porch. Well, okay.
Yeah, it's one of the things that I'm wondering if in Pearl it's gonna explain their relationship. Because it's just like,
she has one that got away, right? Or I forget. She's like, I was in love.
It felt like she wanted to get away, but she's stuck here. And so it makes me wonder, like, because that's the thing. It's like it really feels like things definitely happened in this movie, but at the same time, nothing really happened. Like, it's just like, some kids, which, well, I guess they're not really kids, but anyway, some actors try to get over and take advantage of an old couple, and it bites them in the butt. But it's just like, okay, and
then there's the other thing about this movie is it feels like the director spent a lot of time making everything you see in the first half important in the second half. And for me, it got to the point where I was kind of like, okay, like the driving over a body, I was like, okay. And like different things, like it was so many things that were getting alluded to that once I got to the end of the movie, I was like, all right, if I remember right, this is gonna come up, this is gonna come up, this is gonna come up. Like the shock factor kind of wears off when there's like 6 things that were alluded to are happening in like succession.
I think what would have been interesting is there's a movie that does this, and I can't remember what movie it is, but I think it might be Memento, which that's not fair to Memento to compare to this movie. But I think what would have been interesting, because like the sheriff and his crew, like, they cracked me up a little bit, where it's like his type, he's like, man, do you know what happened here? It's like, how the heck am I supposed to know that?
I just got here.
I just got here, yeah. But it's I think what would be interesting. What would have been interesting is if they cut between the 2 times. So like, while they discovered stuff, like we went back and saw what happened
instead of doing the full just blanket 24 hours earlier.
Yeah. So, or it's just like,
I think that's a very Texas Chainsaw thing, though. The whole like finding the bodies and then what happened previously.
We'll hop on. But yeah, that's when I think that would have been more interesting, where it's just like,
we're learning at the same speed as the sheriff,
the detectives, and he's just like, what's happening? And it's like, we don't need to necessarily get the answer, because it's just like, okay, we know something, there's something bad in the basement, because they're just like, my God. It's just but
I think what I've realized is I don't think I like media that tries to do a second piece of media in it. for me, sometimes it feels like it just pads on time. Like, I knew that they were going to try and make an artsy adult film. I didn't need to see, like, parts of the film in the film.
Yeah.
Like, I could have gotten the gist of it just from the parts of them recording it. And I realized when I read the book Misery by Stephen King, I had the same energy where I was like, I know he has to write a book, but I don't want to read the book he's writing for Misery in the book Misery when I could just be reading about what's happening to him.
Yeah. I agree. It felt like padding the runtime. Where I'm just like, how long was this movie?
Hour 50?
40? 50? Hour 45.
Okay. We're both right.
Yeah, so, like, I don't know. Honestly, it probably would have felt better. Take out the 15 minutes of...
The full edited...
Yeah. Or it's just, like, just show that. Like, just be like, and action, and then just show that rather than, like, okay, here's the behind the, like, scenes and all that. Just, like, pick one. But, so, was this his first? Let's see. Oh, well,
because I know he did direct, write, and produce it.
His first director was in wait. There's like a bunch of TV series.
Short.
Oh, he did. Oh, VHS.
It says written. He wrote a segment. And then he wrote a segment for ABCs of Death, which I remember seeing.
Yeah, but it looks like he did a few, like he did a bunch of TV directorial stuff. Yeah, I guess writer is what we're looking for. I was looking at a director, but yeah, writer. Yeah, shorts, and then a couple things. But, now I'm curious of what VHS thing, because I remember watching that.
It says Second Honeymoon.
I don't remember which one that was. Let's see. The time is up, by the way.
I figured as much.
Second Honey. Because I did watch... I did watch this movie, and it's like an anthology kind of stuff where it's just a bunch of short things. Oh, okay. I think I did watch this. Well, now I remember which one it was, and I'm like, kind of, not that it's the same vibe, but it's like, yeah, I could see it. Which I'm like. Now I'm wondering, like, okay, what's Pearl gonna be? So, but I don't know. Like, I will say there's.
Oh, it says he directed 2 feature films: 2009's The House of the Devil and Cabin Fever 2: Spring Fever.
Oh, that's the one with like the Bugs Bunny in the toilet.
Oh, is it?
I think so.
And then he also did to 2011 The Innkeepers.
Okay.
So it's not his first.
Yeah, it's
movie.
Not his first one, but
I think it's his first with A24 though.
Yeah, where it feels like A24 gives a lot of freedom to the directors, which hey, it works. Like if I had to guess, which it's not going to be a hard guess, I don't think we are the target audience for this movie.
It's interesting though, because I do like slashers.
So I will say there are parts of this movie that I liked, but it's like I liked the pretty much everything that the cops, like the beginning shot, because like
the more comedy bits.
The more comedy bits, but it's just like the cops, like him walking through the house, and it's just like I think it would have been interesting, like him walking into the house, looking at the body like underneath the blanket, and then if you just looked at the house, and then we got the 24-hour things, and then it's just like if they did everything like I don't know, it's pretty much like it would have to be completely rewritten.
Yeah.
what
I think
we're saying, but
for me personally, I think the reason the target audience isn't for me is because like of the messaging that I got from the movie. Like I didn't like what the messaging implied when I watched it. Some people may say I'm reading into it too much. Some people may say you just don't get it. Fine, either way. I kind of would have preferred it if they had really leaned into the religious. Again, not to say that every movie we need to watch from A24 involves religious trauma, but it would have been more fascinating for me because they're so heavy-handed with the evangelist on the TV.
Yeah.
It would have been more interesting to find out that they happen to rent something where they have been very like indoctrinated by the TV sayings, and that's like they thought they were doing justice to remove the devil's
the old
work.
people. The old people.
Yeah. Like
So,
I would have found that a more interesting take of it because then it's kind of a discussion about like when you have strong religious beliefs like that, is it actually a cult and not a religious thing? But again, religious trauma. We've watched plenty of those.
Yeah. And so, like, I don't mind it being, like, grumpy old people. It's just...
I just wish it wasn't about something, to me, that, like...
You can't control. Like,
age. Like, I keep looking at Hollywood stars, and I don't recognize them anymore because they have all the pressure that they have to look like they did in their 20s when they're in their 50s. And I'm like, there were plenty of women in their 50s that look fine. I hate that we demonize this. And it feels like this movie further demonizes aging.
There's an actor where everyone found out, I think it was this week, they found out that he was 78 years old and he looks like he's in his 40s or 50s. I know I just saw it on Twitter, so I'm like seeing if I can... There it is. What's his name? Oh, shoot. I'm trying to see what his name is, and he's... Oh, I think it's Ghostbusters. Because that movie came out. Let's see. Ghostbusters, there it is. I'm looking. Ernie Hudson. Here, I'll send you his IMDb.
Okay, but in any case,
yeah, like it's like sorry, like our conversation, like he's
like, yeah.
Like
I see.
He does not look his age.
Yeah. In any case, I think society demonizes aging so much to the point that I've seen plenty of people on TikTok. They buy products and they get stuff done when they're really young because they're so scared of looking old when they get old. But like, it should be fine. You should be allowed to just age and not feel like you have to get a facelift as soon as you see a wrinkle. But that's just me.
I say get all the plastic. No.
In any case,
but
who do you recommend this movie for?
I really don't know. It's
because I was gonna say I would enjoy watching the last like half hour with friends, but the setup I don't want to watch that with other people in the room.
Yeah, and like because like the second half, like it is funny, like just these old people killing everybody. Like I busted out laughing when Pearl shot the shotgun and just flew like 10 feet in the air.
Like that was funny. The gator was funny.
Yeah, there are like scenes that are like funny. It's just like the depth of characters is 1 inch. It's like what you see is what you're getting, pretty much.
I was gonna make a sex joke.
It's up to you.
What were we gonna say? The Drake joke. I was gonna say. I think Jackson's got more than 1 inch.
Yeah, true. It's it is displayed. But yeah, it's there was okay, I will say there was one thing I didn't like before I wanted to mention this because it's something that I'm like, why are they doing this? Which is like at the very end, old man shoots Lorraine, and then I forget. Like, he's about to shoot Maxine and then begins having a heart attack. And they're like, you gotta save him. And it's just like,
Why?
Yeah,
Why would
like
she?
why? And then
She has zero stakes in getting him to a hospital.
yeah, and just like
And you knew his heart was too weak, and here you are, forcing his heart.
to do the work of a young man. But and then like they find out the gun's not like it's just, oh man, I'm gonna super murder you when I get the chance. But oh wait, the cards are down. Forgive me. That's just like, excuse me.
No.
Like no.
No forgiveness.
Own it. But yeah.
I was kind of hoping that Maxine got caught while she was crawling away from them boinking. Because they spent such a long time. Like, did I think it was kind of a like interesting shot to see like her like army crawling diagonally from under the bed? Yeah, but the scene went on entirely too long for her not to get caught.
Yeah, and then, but that was the other thing. They like, it's like the whole thing, like the actual physical ability of these two old people was just confusing to me because it's like it really isn't that long for Maxine to get from the house up from the guest house to the main house, get Lorraine out, have an argument, and then
sprint out the door.
The sprint out the door, like it's,
and they're fully clothed.
Yeah, they're fully clothed. They're just ready for war, and I'm just like, okay. It's like, man, they got the ability of the shadow people from us.
Yeah, I guess I would recommend this movie to someone that likes kind of like a homage to other slashers. Like if you want to feel like you're watching an older slasher but don't feel like rewatching an older slasher, this can fill that itch. Again, if you don't mind the whole setup for the premise and the fact that like the characters are somehow less developed than slashers I've seen.
Yeah.
Because it feels like they're trying to overemphasize the adult film industry to the point where I'm like, you have to have another personality trait.
Well, that's what Lorraine was.
And then she wasn't.
Yeah.
She was converted. She wasn't a good girl anymore.
She was evangelized too.
The opposite direction.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know who I would. I'm gonna hold off until after Pearl. After we watch Pearl, I think like this to see the thing in as a whole, because I'm like, at the moment I don't think I would recommend it to anybody. Like, just watch the second half. I don't know. It's a
very average horror film.
Yeah, it's like, okay.
I guess it's an interesting thing for us doing the series like in a row, because we started with really strong horror films that are very much to our taste in the very beginning.
Yes.
Because like Hereditary is one of my favorites, but I know a lot of people don't like Hereditary because they say nothing happens and it's just uncomfortable. And I'm like, but that's more it's more interesting to me than jump scares, whereas this one feels like it leans more into like the very fast-paced, jumpy, like in-your-face kind of stuff.
Hop and I like to crawl through the slog of emotions for our horror movie.
Yeah, we want family trauma.
We want to feel bad ourselves.
So yeah, just like, a taste thing.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like, because like even though like because a lot of my friends like hold the kind of a lot of the same views I do and everything, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know if you guys would want to watch the first half of the movie. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. It's
also weird because honestly, I think the second half makes sense on its own.
Yeah. Like,
you don't need the first half.
It's like the first half, it felt like it was just to justify because the old man says, "You got my Pearl all riled up and now she's going." It's like, why? Like, is she like one of those? It's not in here, but it reminded me of it's not the same thing, I should say, but it reminded me of Watchmen, because the guy who's the equivalent of Batman in that movie, pretty much he has ED, erectile dysfunction, and like
okay, I heard that and thought eating disorder.
Oh yeah, I hear it go both ways. But anyway, he has that, and he has. But like they find out, like he learn like there's in the comic and in the movie, like he's trying to have this relationship with one of the people, and it's just every time they're trying to pretty much have sex, it doesn't work, and he's just like, I don't know what it is. And then there's just one part like. Both in the comic book and the movie, they get into a fight scene, and that's like his like he pretty much he's like, well, I'm in the mood now, and it's just like it was pretty much the murdering is what got these old people like in the mood. And I'm like, cool, guys,
uncomfy.
No wonder nobody visits.
Well, in any case, then do you have any final
explicit
thoughts?
Tag? There's my final thought. Do we got to put the explicit tag on this episode?
I don't think we said anything specifically. I mean, if people are going to go watch the movie, they're going to know.
Yeah.
We didn't say exactly anything.
We didn't go into detail.
Yeah, it's not like Always Sunny where we had to like give exact descriptions of things that were happening across episodes.
Yeah. So, that being said, tune in next week when we talk about Pearl.
Prequels! It's our only prequel. It's our only duology.
Yeah.
In this list. I don't know if A24 has any others.
I'm trying to think if would one.
Oh, the director does plan on making another movie in this series. I think it's Maxine.
That kind of makes sense.
And I think
the way it ended.
And I think it's 3 X's in the title, so...
Oh, yeah, I think I saw that. Well, if we do another
More boobies! There you go, make it explicit. No, I don't know.
It's, I'm just, when you said that, it just reminded me of the mod people put into Lethal Company where one of the bugs goes, yippee!
That is fun.
I don't know. We'll see. Do characters get depth? I don't know. But, I don't know. We'll see. If we do another A24 thing, maybe.
They are pumping out the movies.
Yes. And they're actually making other ones that, from our conversations, were like, yes. But it is getting late on a Wednesday, so if you guys listen to this on Wednesday or any other day, thanks. And leave reviews and all that stuff. But we're going to go to bed. So, until next time, well, bye.